that is an assignment for us in our meeting. Now we are moving to the next very, very serious level. It is now my time to bring in Christopher Haemba. And he's not alone. This is a very international principal, who was the principal of Friends Schools, Kamusinga, and he did very well. Then he joined the Alliance, he took over the Alliance, and was at the top of things until when he moved to South Africa. But he joined teaching after working in the Air Force. So he's a soldier by right and by training. And you know, there are very strange similarities with Chesebe. Chesebe also trained as a police officer. So I don't know, I might be recommending in future that before you come to Tenwek High School as a principal, you go and train in some military first. Maybe Franklin, that is one of the conditions, but that is a joke. But as Franklin has stated, kama mtu anakaa huko nje unapanga ati unakuja kwa principal hapa, sahau. Ni sisi the alumni tutatafuta na tutaleta the right person at all time. I'm making that public announcement. This is not a school of guesswork. It is a school where boys must succeed.
Thank you, sir. The chief guest, Justice Kigen Kate, the Senator Skay, our dear Archbishop, is the custodian of all that goes here that is good. All the leaders and our chief principal, all protocol observed. I want to be very brief because I'm sure the boys are waiting to listen to Justice Kiken Katwa. And he's not an ordinary person. So I'll take some 9 minutes. Just when the 9th minute arrives, ring the bell. But before the start of the 9 minutes, I just want to appreciate that we were invited to again make remarks in the presence of a very distinguished guest who has done many things, who is a friend of a lot of my former students. Justice, again, people like Francis Tuyot. I know you have moved from, I think, the bar. Now you're going to, what is this other one called? The bench. And you'll be missed in the bar, I'm told. People like Joel Ngugi, Patrick Kiage, and the one you're joining with, Paul Ilan. Those were my students. And I now discover not all brilliant people came to me at Alliance. That's how I missed you. So, really pleased to be here to even listen to you, encourage the boys. May I also introduce one friend I came with? That is Ryan. Ryan, if you could just stand. Ryan Phillips Page. He's a citizen of 3 countries. Portugal, South Africa, and the United States of America. But my history with him started in South Africa. We set up African Leadership Academy together. We are now looking into setting up a similar school, our distinguished guest here in Kenya and in Addis Ababa. And Senator Skay, one of your colleagues, Eddie Okech, he was our student in the first class that we admitted at African Leadership Academy. So boys, last year I brought somebody from Germany. This year, a person of 3 countries. Some of you that may be interested in pursuing studies in those countries, have a chat with him. Thank you, Ryan. So, I just want to go to what I think we should do. I had made notes, but I will not go through them. That would be a lot of repetition. Boys, you've been given very sound advice here, and more is coming from our chief guest and the senator. But this is what I want us to do, senior principal, chief principal, J7. In the current class of 787 boys, beginning this afternoon, identify 115 boys out of 787 who, as of now, can work and get min A grades. 115, identifying them on the basis of the performance that has been done. Identify another 212 boys in the class of 787 Form 4s who can get A-. Identify 300 boys who, as of now, work can be done to push them to B+ overall grade. Identify 100 who can get B. And the last grade, if it ever happens, it must be the last one attained by this year's Form 4s, will be a B- of the 6 that are remaining. I think I did that arithmetic and added to 784. So if that can be done now, and of course you know what strategies can be, there was a good strategy I came across when I visited last year, I think around mathematics. But in Alliance we used to say, mathematics for the strong, and the mathematics for the weak, and the mathematics for the average. I think that kind of thing, and then of course the teachers do the necessary job that should be done. And in that way, 100% transition to university. But the prayer of Sosyon was, and the bishop is, but this is the way you begin, because you must be very deliberate. Identify the strength of the boys and work on that strength, solidify them, and this is not just statistics I've hooked up. If guest, I was looking at the performance of this class, and that's how I categorized them. I did this for my 2 schools last year, Nova Pioneer Boys Datu, Nova Pioneer Boys Eldoret. And all of them averaged 10 when they were in the 8, mean average. And indeed, Sosyon did share the news with you. The worst grade attained at the 2 schools was B-. And we did this kind of thing right at the beginning. So it can be done. So we must be very deliberate in the work we do with the Form 4s. And the Form 4s, I mean, you are the people in the arena. You are just being encouraged. So you do the job. Finally, you know, I was just asking, and I shared this with the parents last year here. When you want Principal J7 to benchmark now, which school should he benchmark with in the country? And then we have the prayers of the bishop. We want this school on the global status in every metric. And for him to do that, I think I gave a wrong group the assignment. This should be go to the alumni. And I know, Honorable Sosyon, this you are capable of. I witnessed you organize a continental conference of teachers where you are elected president, I think. And at that time I was in Nairobi. In fact, that's when we worked very closely. And this can be done. I think we need to get our principal now to visit some of the schools. I have 5 of them identified here in the UK, South Korea, and USA. Then he can benchmark. But if you want him to be benchmarking Staré, my high school government, Alliance, he will just solidify the inefficiencies and narrow perspective of the in this country. It is me who effected banning of caning, if you remember the 7, when we divided boys into groups of 10 and then put them under management of teachers for purposes of counseling. That was effective. And then the Minister for Education then I think was Kalonzo at the time. Then he announced banning of caning. So international exposure is great. And if we want Tenwek, where we are saying it must be, let's invest in that kind of thing. So let me join everybody who wished your candidates very well. This can be done. And with all the inspiration of all the boys here. In fact, Dr. Kirich, I wish I knew you were a schoolmate of State House Controller when I was struggling in the year 2000 with Alliance. I know he called me a few times for purposes of blessing certain boys at Alliance, but he never gave me his number. But if I knew you knew him, I would have called Benjamin when he was control of State House. Lastly, I think this school is very, you look at every aspect of it in terms of governance, encouragement of the alumni, and led by Sosion, who actually led the effort in getting Tesebe come here. Tesebe, who I had mentored, I think, for close to 7 years. The future can only get greater. So, I wish you well, boys, and just get down to working. Asante.
Can you give a better round of applause to Christopher Haile? Because any minute he speaks, he will always give you new strategies of doing things and things which work. I want to thank you for always finding time to come to this school. He doesn't argue. He never gives excuses of being busy or what. He will find time and he will be here at 8 a.m. He was here from 8 a.m. and he's here today for the school. What the contribution you've made, we cannot reward you as Tenwek High School, but I think God will reward you in heaven. One thing you forgot to mention is that through the collaboration with the German institutions, 2 students from these schools have secured scholarships in Germany. Is that true? So we are beginning the international journey. What we agreed with Mr. Haemba is to coordinate scholarships for the boys. Score well, we do it internationally. But you have challenged us, even with the benchmarking, we must do it internationally. Because this should be the best school, not of Limpopo and south of Sahara, and in the entire world. So you cannot go and benchmark with Maseno and local schools in Kenya. We must think internationally. Because these boys are international boys. Now we are moving to the next level. Today we say Nisikuya lawyers. And I want to state in terms of data that for the last 2 years, in 2023, this school sent 17 students to take law in various universities in Kenya. Can you clap for that? So today we are celebrating the legal profession. The mentorship segment is the legal profession, led by Hilary Sigay. The other bit is that last year, those who joined the legal profession were 22. So in 2 straight years, Senior Counsel, my lordship, you have 39 relatives from this school joining you. So Hilary, you are no longer lonely. You have a big team. But I think we are affording you this opportunity so that you can inspire more. Then next year we'll be talking of 100. May I now present Hilary Sigay. Hilary Sigay is a senator of Bomet. Hilary Sigay was a student in this school. And he was a member of my drama club. The English he has is mine. And that English was given to me by Dr. Kirich. So you can see the sequence. Hilary Sigei is one of the finest lawyers we have in Kenya. I later on gave him a job to man the legal department of Kenya National Union of Teachers. And he remains so up to date. I will not mention also, but let me mention, he's my personal lawyer also. Like he's a lawyer of many people. So here is a fine young man who accepted to work with us and accepted to be a member of the board of this school. And every time we meet in his office, the first business is Tenwek High School. Agenda number 1, tunaweka kando. And so Hilary, in your pursuit of service to this country, is also the chair committee in the Senate. And is the alternate speaker. Do you know a speaker of the Senate? A very powerful person. So you may think it looks small and all that, body-wise, but he's one of our finest alumnus who has risen very fast to very influential position. And it is him who has come with the senior counsel, the judge of the Court of Appeal. It is not mine to talk about the legal profession. But you know, Hilary, if there is a client who has worked very closely with lawyers in this country, it is Wilson Sosyan. So I must be the lawyer without a practicing certificate. Because you and me, we represented these teachers and we delivered for them. I'm happy. And personally, Hilary, I'm very happy with you. Very proud of you. So when Chesebe talked of 10 years, yani, tutakubali, if Hilary is in that position, re-elect him for the second time, then atakuwa leader of majority and something else. There is a job he's doing. The bus, atakuja kutuambia story ya bus iko namna gani. I don't want to talk about it. Aliniambia imetoka mahali. And the bus will be here. The member of parliament for, yes, it will be here. I am not preempting. Yeye atasema. The member of parliament of this constituency has assured he will deliver the other bus by April. This school requires 10 buses at all times, so that boys can be traveling in different directions. That is a fact. We must also invest in the transport. Ama namna gani? Sikupiga makofi so that it happens. It's my humble pleasure and privilege to present Senator Hilary Sigei to take control of the rest of the program until the time you want. If you want to take us up to evening, fine. If you want to do it in 10 minutes, it's up to you. It is now the stage for the legal profession to showcase themselves. And I can see I'm a bango ya wanasheria.
Thank you very much, Honorable Wilson Sosyan, my teacher, my friend, my employer, my elsewhere competitor, and a great teacher for all the times. I rarely get such accolades you've given me. Somehow I, in most cases, want to do what our chief guest today will do, to live under serious confidentiality. So our chief guest for today, I know you have not gotten used to. I'm also trying to get used to. My Lord Justice Katwa Joseph Kipchumba Gideon, Bishop Dr. Robert Langat, and Dr. Mrs. Langat, the leadership of the school led by Dr. Hilary Constant, that is the board of management, the principal of the school and the entire teacher fraternity, Principal Tesebe, and Principal Joan Bett of Chebonei Girls, the entire team of alumni led by Senior Honorable Franklin Bett and Dr. Kerich, and the entire leadership that is present here, wazazi wote ambao wamekuja kujumuika na sisi siku ya leo, and the Nehemiahs of 2026 and Esthers of 2026. Bwana Yesu wasifiwe. God is good and all the time. And what do we say? That is his nature. Today is not my day because we have a very senior judge to speak to us about law. But I want to request for only under 1.5 minutes because he will have to speak to you. He's a very special person. I will introduce him. But I want to say we are here today to celebrate the 2025 results and to celebrate the 515 of our young, now old boys of Tenwek High School who are moving to the next stage of their life by joining the university, and our sisters from Chebonei Girls who are also advancing to the next level of their leadership. And Bishop, you put it right. I do not want to repeat what you say. Mheshimiwa Brighton Yagon, Member of Parliament, Tanwek, karibu sana. Welcome to Tenwek High School. And so, this is the kind of leadership that Principal Tesebe has inspired on the boys. They know when to take care of guests, and I appreciate you for that gesture. Thank you very much. So, you will allow me in under 1 minute because I do not want to speak. We have a chief guest who will speak to us. I want to thank the alumni of Tenwek High School and the rest of the Friends of Tenwek community for the good work that we have done. We are here celebrating. We will continue to celebrate everything and every success that we have in Tenwek High School. I will comment on 2 things. The rest has been dealt with by Honorable Wilson Soshon about the role of the alumni and what we desire to do and the challenge that Honorable Franklin Bate has given us to do. I want to commit, Mr. Franklin, that we are going to do it because it is our job, it is our duty and our responsibility to give back to Tenwek High School, because without Tenwek High School, we wouldn't be who we are today. That is our job. I want to thank Principal Tesebe and your team. If you were not transparent and a responsible principal, I would be saying what I normally say because as a senator, I oversight on use of public resources. I am aware that every coin that has come from the parents, from the national government, has been put into good use. That is why we are still comfortable to associate with you and to support you. I thank you for that, and thank you boys, thank you girls. Above all, thank you parents for bringing your children to Tenwek High School and Chebonei High School and supporting us whenever we call upon you to come in and support the programs that we have in school. Honorable Soshon has told you boys, you remember we had a promise of a school bus and another one by the area member of parliament, Honorable Kilel. He has committed that he will be delivering it in April. Similarly, the one by the president will come along, that one, when we are commissioning this wonderful administrative block of Tenwek High School. And we need more. The request I want to ask of you is to make sure that you also excel in your academics so that you inspire many and you encourage those who are investing in you to invest more for the generations to come, because we are here today, we will be living here tomorrow for others to join. And lastly, because this is an opportunity also for us to appreciate what the government has done. Next, Honorable Wilson Soshon, you are aware that we are getting the charter of the University of Bomet, and we shall be celebrating on the 6th of February the issuance of the charter to Bomet University, one of its kind. I want to thank Bishop and your first council and the support that you gave us as the residents of Bomet to be able to celebrate that institution that I know will bring great change to the academic angle that we have here in Bomet. I want to encourage you all to make good use of every opportunity that comes our way so that we excel in everything that we do. I will say something as I introduce the chief guest about law, because I want him to speak about law, but I want to thank him for accepting to come today. I do not know we have other lawyers. I know we have Doris. Because we have Chebonei girls, I will give you under 1 minute to say something and speak about what it is to be a lawyer in Kenya, in Africa, in the world, in under 1 minute, so that I allow the Right Honorable Lord Justice Katwa to say something to us. Karibu sana.
Your Lordship, Justice Kigen, Honorable Senator, Bishop Dr. Langat, all protocols have been observed. Good afternoon. Tenwek, hi, hoye. Chebonei girls, hoye. Thank you. My name is Doris Ngeno. I am an advocate, and I am the queen of South Rift. I am an alumni of Kipsigis Girls High School, and I challenge Chebonei girls. Chebonei girls, I challenge you to challenge the queens. I have practiced for 10 years, and currently the legal advisor, Office of the Governor, Kericho County. I believe that's a very brief introduction. I want to thank you, Senator Sige and Your Lordship, for inviting me. You're simply confirming that we are lawyers who obey the law. This is in compliance with the gender rule. You see, they are gentlemen, so they decided the law must prevail. And I'm here to balance the gender. So law is a very good profession, and all we require is, I can say, comes from Colossians chapter 3, verse 2. Nani anaweza tuambie nasema nini? I'll tell you briefly. Colossians chapter 3, verse 2 says, in everything that you do, do it with all your heart. So if you're supposed to be showing kindness, do it very well. If you're supposed to be listening, please listen carefully and be very attentive. Give it your all. And that way you will emerge a success. Chebonei girls, are we listening? Thank you very much. Tenwek boys, I'm not leaving you aside. Oh yeah? Oh yeah. In everything that we do? No, in everything that in everything that we do, let's do it with all our heart. And even as we listen to the chief guest, let's do it with all our heart. In a few years' time, you will appreciate what you will have picked from the chief guest. Asanteni sana. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Doris. Tenwek boys, hoye. Tenwek boys, hoye. Chebonei girls, hi. Chebonei girls, hi. Sikuambia muitike na mnaitika na si nyinyi. Anyway, now it is my great pleasure to let you know who the person who will speak to you today is. Lord Justice Katwa Iftumba Joseph Keegan is the latest kid in the block among the judges of the Court of Appeal. He is currently a judge of the Court of Appeal of Kenya. He is also endowed with the rank of a senior counsel, which was conferred to him for his exemplary legal service to the country called Kenya, the region called Africa, and the world called the world. Katwa Keegan has specialized in most or almost all areas of legal practice. Among the few is the area that is done in international law. I know most of you know that he was among the lawyers that represented His Excellency the President of the Republic of Kenya when he was charged before the International Criminal Court of Justice. He was leading a team of other lawyers, including yours truly, Wakili Sigei, who is standing here today. He's done so much for this country, and he has got over 25 years of legal practice, and now, as Honorable Hanga was saying, he's crossing over from the bar to the bench. We shall miss his expertise, but we will be sure to get the justice from him from another table. Justice Keegan was my first employer as a lawyer. I got the English from Honorable Social, as he said. When I drafted the first document, when Justice Keegan employed me as his lawyer, it came back with blue, green, black, red, tagged remarks. And I thought I didn't know law and I didn't know English. But I later realized that was his drafting skills and his expertise in legal area. Justice Keegan is one of the simplest of the excellent performers in his work, disciplined, hardworking, and above all, of great humility. Allow me, Justice Keegan, then to take this moment to ask the boys of Tenwek High School to rise and the girls of Cheboney Girls to rise, so that we welcome him with a round of applause together with the members from the podium, so that he speaks to us. Welcome, Justice Keegan, and the floor is yours.
Hello, may we be seated, please? Good afternoon, everybody. God is good. Bwana asifiwe. I know I have been asked that I should focus on biasing my presentation in respect to lawyers. But I will do it the way I prepared, and we'll see how it goes. The first thing I want to say is all protocols observed. Bishop, Honorable Sigei, everybody, again, good afternoon. I thank God for this opportunity, the invite from Sigei and his friends that I come here. I feel very honored to come here. I also want to have said we thank God for the performance of 2025. Bishop in his sermon in the four F's, far, fast, faith, included faith. We also want to thank God for the way faith we have in the Nehemiahs of Tenwek and the Esthers of Cheboney. We want to thank God for that. And we wish the candidates the best. We pray that they all get A's in the exams. It's not very usual to have to correct a very exceptionally successful professional like Dr. Kaemba, but I must do this. He multiple times said the boys should do this, the boys should do this. I want to say that extension should go to the girls also. And so we also pray that the approach that will be applied on the boys be applied on the girls. Many of you must have seen me looking behind us. Many people are referring to me. and I have pain on my neck. The reason is that the designation of judge, my lord, is very new. I am barely 10 days old in that designation, and I'm yet to get used to that. And probably you would say I'm a mourner in that respect. Now, I also probably want, having come here and seen all the things that have gone on here, I want also to, having said thanks to God for all the things that have been done, is probably to just say thank you also and to recognize the excellent performance by the various people. The bishop's role and participation in the events of this school, the alumni, and coming here and meeting quite a number of my friends, including Franklin, Soshan, and Hillary. And I must say that I found the way the principal conducting the affairs of this school extremely exceptional. His ability to recognize and remember all his teachers, his understanding of the events, the number of years he has been here, the escalation in the performances, I think is something to applaud. And probably we should clap for him, shouldn't we? Please let's clap for him. Now, I will go to the content of my presentation. Quite a number of the things that I have intended to say have been said. But probably let me start by, first of all, identifying myself with you students especially. Now, I was so glad when Bishop made comments about the circumstances under which he grew and how he came to school. He didn't mention the fact that he came to school barefooted, but I'm sure he did that. Those days there were no borders, and that is exactly how we went to school ourselves. I think Bishop probably was, if we were in the same school, he would have been 1 or 2 classes ahead of me. We went to school in circumstances where the means of reading was either daylight or paraffin lamps. My school, Kiplobe Primary School, and I should mention this, Kiplobe Primary School was 4 kilometers away from our home. And so we had to run in the morning home, from home to school. And those days we used to be caned. And I've always thought that caning should have still been retained. I am glad to meet the person who is responsible for the end of that. But the context under which I'm sure Bishop Kayemba, myself, and a number of people went to school was that we used to be caned both at home and in school. The description that the Bishop gave also of the nature and the environment under which we lived, living in crash-type houses, living in houses made of mud, living in an environment when rain comes, you have to adjust where you're sleeping because rain comes both from the roof and from the sides. Is a real thing that we went through. And so we thank God for how far we've come. We thank God for how society has changed, and we thank God for where He has brought us. And I'm referring to including Franklin Beth, Bishop, Kayemba, all those people who grew up in that environment. But more coming home, dear students, Tenwek and Chebone, is to say this. One time, myself, Bishop, Franklin, all of us were seated where you're seated. We sat in an environment like yours. We sat in classrooms where you're sitting. We had to go through the reading that you're doing. We had to go through the exams. And so this is a very real situation. That this is a journey we all have to go through. And we therefore want to say that what really makes a difference in how you proceed is your life choices. And the temptation always is to say that I am young, I'm under my parents, I'm under my teachers, I'm under the church, and probably not quite exercise your function as a responsible person. And if you were to sum the things I wanted to say today, is the need for discipline and making the right choices. Now, I had intended to make I didn't know exactly the environment. I thought it was a meeting between myself and the students in a closed environment. But let me just do what I wanted to do, being that I want to just give you a list of what I would deem to be the things that, in many senses, and Bishop has said it, Dr. Kaimba has said it, Dr. Kerich has said it, things that as far as would more probably than not make you a successful person. But other than saying that, I intend to give you a short story. Okay, it's a long story, but I'll make it short. Of an environment where I think all the issues I'm going to discuss were tested. It is an incident of an air crash that happened many years ago in 1972. Dr. Kerich said he came here in 1968. And so that air crash must have happened about 3 or 4 years after he was a student here. That story has resulted in the writing of over 10 books since 1972, has resulted in over 10 movies, and in 2023 somebody reproduced the same movie, and the result was that it was nominated for Oscars. Now, before I come to telling you that story, probably just let me tell you a couple of things that I thought I need to just highlight by way of edifying your progression to a successful life. The 5 things that you really must have is that you must have discipline. And that discipline is not based on what other people tell you. You need to be able to internalize what you're told and have that discipline at a personal level. Whether it is discipline in hygiene, it's discipline in your reading, it's discipline in your timekeeping, you must have discipline. Number 2 is that you must have values, and I intend to discuss them a little later. You must have values. There must be something that your life and your person represents. You must make wise choices. It doesn't matter how old you are, whether you are 14, 15, 20, you really must be wise. And occasionally you will make a wrong choice, but you have the second chance and the third chance and more chances to improve on it. And very emphatically, let's say this, there is no chance that you will succeed unless you work hard. Your success will not be based on chance. It is based on choices. It is based on hard work. You must make that choice to work hard. And you are responsible for that decision as a gentleman in Tenwek High School, as a girl in Chebonai. And also, in addition to saying that there's no shortcut to hard work, we can say this as an absolute, that nobody has succeeded by being lazy. So you really must come out of any temptation to be lazy. Nobody can succeed if he is not disciplined. Indiscipline will guarantee that you fail. And nobody can succeed if you allow yourself to fall into addiction. Addiction is a solid barrier to any success you may have. And if you have succeeded and you fall into an addiction, you will definitely, you cannot maintain your success will come to an end. And I want also to say this, that your effort today, your effort at this time, is what will improve and expand your opportunities in days ahead. Now, that is a general summary. I just want to go to the point form, but since I was told to talk about lawyers, I just want to say lawyers, the nature of lawyers is, as was explained by one of us, there is a difference between a lawyer who is practicing as an advocate, which is what I've done in the last over 25 years, and a lawyer practicing as a judge. When you're practicing as a lawyer, your business is to represent and defend the position of one of the litigants. And so if you are an advocate, like Soshan explained, he had the interest of the teachers in mind. He engaged Wakili Sige Mheshimiwa to represent the interest of the teachers, and obviously he must have been, the government must have been on the other side. So government also had their side, and so they also had a lawyer. And so it was a confrontation between the lawyer for government and the lawyer for the teachers, and the person who would have to make that decision is the judge. So I hope that explains a bit about the difference between a lawyer and a judge. In my own way, probably, I don't think I'm wrong, the moral expectations of a lawyer are not as high as those of a judge, because as a lawyer, all your business is the interest of your client and what you want to sell. But as a judge, you need to determine between the competing positions and be fair and just. I would then want to run through a number of things I wanted to discuss with you in terms of optimizing your chances to succeed. I think I want to say the first one is to say that you need to endeavor to maintain good company. And the inverse of that is that you need and you must cut out toxic company. You must cut out people whose influence, whose suggestions, whose ideas are adverse to your well-being, whose ideas do not enable you to make good choices. The second one, and because I've been asked to discuss something about addiction, is that please don't place God under temptation. Don't tempt God. Don't tempt yourself. Don't, more times than not, the addiction, and let me not even say more times than not, it's almost invariable, that addiction starts with a simple game. You want to try, you want to test, you want to see what it has. After a while, you find yourself completely consumed and taken in by the addiction. And so my strongest advice is that if you've been told that an addiction, that this thing is bad, the best thing is to avoid going in that direction. And the general addictions we generally have to deal with is alcohol, smoking, whether you're smoking cigarettes, tobacco, shisha, taking bang or marijuana, taking miraa, prescription drugs, cocaine, heroin. It all starts with a temptation to taste and feel what it feels like. And my very strong advice to you today is that please don't allow yourself to go that direction whatsoever. The third thing I wanted to suggest is that you need, as a person, to set your own targets. You need to be able to say in your miniature way that I want by this time, because we are a Christian community here, probably to say that by such and such a time I will have accomplished my baptism, for instance, as a target to say by this time I will have read this number of books. You need to set targets for yourself and endeavor to achieve those targets. Ideally, those targets should be targets that you can achieve. Your targets should be both long-term and short-term, and if you achieve them, they give you a lot of self-esteem, they give you a lot of self-confidence. Meeting these targets is therefore a very useful way of developing yourself and optimizing your chances of succeeding. I already said you need to be self-disciplined, and what it means to have self-discipline is to have self-control. I'm sure the bishop would say this if he was given a chance, and this is what I'm telling you also from the law perspective, that life has always been a challenge between what you think you need and what is actually necessary for your well-being. It is always a competition, what your body wants. what you think you require and what really is necessary for you to succeed. And therefore self-control boils down to that. That to what extent can you resist the temptation for a brief moment of pleasure, a brief moment of excitement for the long-term returns. And therefore self-discipline, hard work, consistency, setting goals are a very important thing. And in one way, on a day-to-day basis, you should be able to set for yourself timelines, you should be able to set for your deadlines, you should be able to set for yourself responsibilities that you want to achieve. The other thing I would want to say that you need for make it possible to succeed is that you have to have principles. You have to stand for something. Each of you by your name should be able to stand for something. You should have principles, you should have values, you should stand for something. You should be decisive and create a reputation around that of what you stand for. People should be able to say that if Michael says this, if Margaret says this, if Nehemiah says this, if Esther says this, or if you ask either of those people, this is most likely what they will say or do. You should represent something. And around that issue is that sometimes you determine those values based on what you believe in. And the best influence for that kind of determination of what you want to stand for is your belief system, your religion. It could also be a question of loyalty to your family, it could be a philosophical position, but I guess if I talk about philosophy as school of thought, that's too sophisticated. But I just want to put emphasis that you should determine at a personal level to say, this is what I stand for, this is what I represent, this is what I champion. And in the process of doing that, you should be able to refuse, reject, and turn away peer pressure. You should be able to say no. You should be able and be ready to disappoint people who want to chase the time or to encourage you to do something wrong in the name of looking heroic. You should be able to say no and communicate clearly your refusal, both in word, in deed, both verbally and in writing. And correlated with that, in my view, is that a very strong recommendation that you should also find something which occupies you, something that really makes you happy, something you like, something that makes you busy, something that you have passion for. And this could be anything. It could be gardening, it could be maintaining a pet, it could be participating in a choir, it could be participating in music, it could be drawing, it could be running, it could be swimming, it could be any of those things. And that would really, in many ways, maintain a focus in your life. The other thing I think that would really influence your life and help you carve out a good path for your life is to have loyalties. You should be able to be loyal to something, to people, to friends. And loyalties, to me, the priority would be loyalty to your family, followed by loyalty to your church, followed by loyalty to your friends, probably loyalty to your school and to your country. And I think the alumni of this school have shown you a very strong statement of what loyalty means. Their commitment to this school is a clear statement of their loyalty to this school, a loyalty to the welfare of the community. And so I would recommend that as you grow up, as you chart out your path, you need to have something you're loyal to. And in addition to being loyal, you should be able to work with others and foment friendships. You had Dr. Kerich and Franklin Bay talk about their relationship since those days, and also Dr. Kayamba and Dr. Kerich relationship from those days of school. That's how friendships start. Even as you are here, it's good to relate with people, it's good to maintain friends. Those friendships will last and will be beneficial to you in days to come. The other thing I want to say is it is very advisable that in whatever you do, whatever decision you make, whatever choices you make, please think about others. Think about people who matter in your life, even if you don't care. Think about what your family will think. Think about what your your parents will think. Think about what your siblings will think. Think about how it will hurt them, how your church will be affected, how your friends will be affected, how your country will be affected. And in making those decisions, let that aspect of what effect it will have on other people be a factor in your decision. Having emotional intelligence. Now, I know one of the speakers, I don't know, I think it was Oshan said, when you make a mistake, you should be pragmatic enough to acknowledge that this was a mistake, to turn around and readjust what you did. And so it is my advice, my recommendation, my submission, I think I should say, that you should always endeavor to be, when you realize something was wrong, you should be ready to acknowledge that it was wrong and be able to change where it's necessary. And correlated to that, and for purposes of being able to do that, it is my recommendation on that head that you should be humble, you should be reachable, you shouldn't create walls around yourself, you should be able to listen to anybody who has something useful to tell you on the issue you're dealing with, you should be respectful, importantly, you should be teachable, regardless of how successful you are, even if you're position 1 in school, even if you're the best debater in this school, you're the best musician, even if you can sing compositions like one of the teachers, you should still be able to listen and be teachable. I would also say the other life skill that you really need to have is that you should be able to forgive yourself. When you ever made a mistake, however bad the mistake is, and because life must continue, you should be able to internalize it and forgive yourself. It's only by forgiving yourself that you'll be able to move forward and be resilient. And where something has happened that you cannot change, accept it, internalize it, and work with it. In addition to being able to forgive yourself, you should be able to forgive others. And you're forgiving others not necessarily because necessarily that it is in their interest, but sometimes forgiving others is a way for yourself to move forward. You should not let pain, bitterness, anger consume you against somebody else. So forgiving them helps. Very importantly, and I think Dr. Kayemba probably would support me on this, is that there is always there's a perception that Africans don't read, and I want to put emphasis on that. Please continuously read. Be always open to read. Be always open to learn something else. And very importantly, one of the philosophies of law is that a human being is curious. How many people here are supporters of Manchester? Let me just see by raising of hands. Manchester must be performing very poorly. Very few people are raising their hands. And those who are raising are keeping it very low. Arsenal, let's see Arsenal. How many people are supporters of Arsenal? How many people are supporters of Gor Mahia? Anyway, the point I'm saying is, you will realize, for instance, that when you meet people, you want to know what kind of scores were there. That knowledge of what scores this team or the other one had is not something you will go and eat. It's not something you will use to sleep on. It's not something that will add quench your thirst or your hunger. It is just the human nature of curiosity. And so I'm extrapolating the point by saying, please maintain an open mind to learn. Be able to read. When you meet people of different cultures, learn from them. When you meet people of different religions, whether it is a Muslim, whether it is a Hindu who believes in reincarnation, listen to them. Get to know what other perspectives of life are. And my emphasis is that it is good to learn, to remain very curious and to be desirous to learn. And second last point I want to make is that don't hold back. I know one of us has said that I think actually it was Bishop who said, we have a challenge that we tend not to consult, we tend not to seek help. I wanted to say that one of the recommendations or suggestions I have is that it is a useful tool in your lives to be able to seek help, and that seeking help is a statement of strength not a statement of weakness. Now, before I tell you the story I wanted to tell you is that it is also my recommendation, and this is a philosophy I believe in myself, is that you should do things your own way. You should learn to do things your own way. But before you get down to doing it your own way, it is good to be consultative, to be extensively consultative, to reflect on it, to sleep over whatever you're dealing with, to pray over it, and then do it your own way. You will not always have your parents to help you make a decision. You will not always have the teachers to help you make decisions. You will not always have bishop, reverends, and clergy to help you make decisions. And so it is very important that you learn to be able to make your own decisions and to do it in a way that is tailor-made to serve your purpose. Now, I see the rains, I see movements. Should I go to telling you the story, or it's time up? Huh? I can't hear you. Okay. So, okay, because of time and pressure, probably I told the principal that you should probably invite me one time when we can have a session with you as students and when we can do a little more. I want to be there because of the pressures that we seem to have. Thank you very much for listening to me. Thank you very much for tolerating me, and I wish you the best in Nehemiah. I wish you well in Esther and all the best. Thank you.
Let us continue also giving him a round of applause. Once more, the Oscars, once more, the Oscars of 2026.